Man, is it just me? Or is raising kids in today's world like a masterclass in impossible, especially when it comes to, body image?
Yeah, tell me about it.
I mean, seriously, the pressure to look a certain way, it's everywhere you look, And it's like, how are we supposed to raise kids who love themselves, like truly love themselves for who they are in the middle of all that?
It's a big question, right? A big, important
It
question.
really is. Thankfully, though, we're diving deep today into some expert advice that can help.
Oh, good.
We've got five, count 'em five, evidence-backed tips to help us parents, caregivers, whatever, to like nurture a positive body image in our kids.
I like it. Nurture's a good word.
Right. Okay, so these tips come from this article we found. It's called, wait for it, Five Tips for Raising a Child with a Positive Body Image. Pretty straightforward. You ready to jump in?
Let's do it.
Right.
I'm actually really curious to see what they came up with.
Me too, me too.
Yeah.
Okay, so tip number one is called, get this, model self-acceptance.
Interesting.
Right. But it's so true, though. It's like we can't just talk the talk. We got to walk the walk,
Yeah.
Especially with kids. They see everything.
Oh, they absolutely do. They're like little sponges soaking up everything they see and hear, even the stuff we don't realize we're putting out there.
Totally. Like if we're constantly, complaining about our own bodies or whatever, what message does that send?
Exactly, exactly. It becomes their normal. And think about it, if they're constantly bombarded with images of like perfect bodies and then they see us, their role models, putting ourselves down, it just reinforces that idea that they're not good enough either.
So ditching those self-deprecating jokes, even the ones we think are harmless, like step one.
It's a good place to start. Instead of saying, ugh, I shouldn't have had that extra slice of pizza, maybe try something like, wow, that pizza was delicious. Now I have enough energy to go play tag. Focus on the positive, the feeling, the experience.
Okay, I like that. Okay, moving on to tip number two, encourage healthy habits, which seems pretty self-explanatory, but there's a twist.
Oh, there always is, right.
Right. It's not just about eating your veggies and exercising. It's about why.
And that why is so crucial because if we frame these healthy habits as a way to like manipulate our bodies into looking a certain way, well, we're kind of missing the point, aren't we?
Okay, so how do we get that message across to our kids?
I think it's about focusing on how these habits make us feel. Like instead of saying you need to eat your vegetables so you can grow big and strong, how about eating these veggies gives you the energy to do all the things you love, like playing tag or building Lego masterpieces.
Oh, I love that. That makes so much sense. Okay, tip number three. We kind of touched on this earlier, but it's a big one. Limiting media stereotypes.
Yeah, good luck with that one, right? I mean, in the age of social media, it's like everywhere.
Tell me about it. But I mean, we can't just like throw our phones away and live in a cave. So
Oh,
what do we do?
it's tough, but I think it's about, again, starting those conversations, teaching them media literacy, helping them understand that what they're seeing, those perfect bodies, those perfect lives, they're often carefully curated and edited. They're not real.
Which is so important for them to understand. Like, have you seen those filters people use? They can make you look like a completely different person.
Exactly. So, talking about those filters, showing them how images can be manipulated, it's all part of the process, right?
Okay, I'm writing this down. All right, tip number four is complement strengths, which seems obvious, but it's actually pretty profound when you think about it.
Oh, totally. It's about shifting the focus from how they look to who they are, their character, their accomplishments.
So instead of saying, oh, you look so handsome in that outfit,
Mhm.
it's more about like, you were so kind to help your friend clean up their toys today. That was really thoughtful of you.
Exactly. And even little things like, wow, you worked really hard on that drawing. I love the colors you chose.
It's about recognizing their effort, their creativity, their kindness, all those amazing qualities that make them who they are.
And when we focus on those things, it helps them internalize those values. They start to see themselves for the incredible, unique individuals they are.
It's like we're building them up from the inside out.
Yeah.
Okay, last but not least, tip number five, find joy in movement,
I like that one. Sounds fun.
right? Because exercise shouldn't be a chore or a punishment. It should be something we enjoy.
Totally. And there are so many ways to move our bodies. It doesn't have to be all about structured sports or hitting the gym.
Like even just dancing around the living room to our favorite song can be a great way to get moving and have fun at the same time.
Exactly. Or going for a hike in nature, playing tag at the park, building a fort in the living room. It's about finding what lights them up, what makes them feel alive and joyful.
It's like We're teaching them to love movement for the sake of movement,
Yeah.
not just for the way it makes them look.
Exactly. And you know what? When we approach it that way, the rest tends to fall into place. They're more likely to stick with it, to develop a healthy relationship with their bodies, and to carry that with them throughout their lives.
Wow, these tips are really making me rethink how I talk to my kids, like not just about their bodies, but about everything.
It's a good reminder for all of us, I think.
It really is.
Yeah.
So to wrap things up, what are some key takeaways? Like if our listeners are anything like me, their brains are probably buzzing with all this info, right?
Yeah. It's a lot to take in, for sure. But I think the biggest takeaway here is that fostering a positive body image in our kids, it's an ongoing process, right?
Totally. It's not a one and done kind of deal.
Exactly. It's about creating a culture of self-love and acceptance, both in our homes and in the world around us. It's about challenging those unrealistic beauty standards and celebrating diversity in all its forms.
And most importantly, I think it's about leading by example. Because, let's be real, our kids are watching us, even when we think they're not.
Truth. So be kind to yourselves, be kind to your bodies, and your kids will learn to do the same.
That's such a powerful message to end on.
I hope so.
So, to all our listeners out there, we want to know, how do you talk to your kids about body image? What are some of the challenges you face? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, let's keep this conversation going.